Hello and welcome to the United Stand. What is Jose Mourinho's best Manchester United 11 between now and the end of the season that can potentially progress us as far as possible in the Champions League, confirm second or at least top four in the Premier League, and hopefully win the FA Cup in relation to the resources we have? No transfer window open now, nothing's happening till the summer. So how does Mourinho salvage something from this stuttering side and start playing a team week in, week out that the fans can identify with? Because let's be honest, week in, week out, we're seeing 2 or 3 substitutions from the starting 11 every game. We're not having a uniform team. We've got no identity. So what is Manchester United's best 11? Well, this isn't our best bet. This is what we feel on the United Stand is the best 11. Although I must just say, very close alternative, which we will discuss. And also, as a little bit of a bonus later on, we've got some bonus information at the end of the video that I think you'll find very interesting in relation to a big topic we were discussing last night. But let's start off with Manchester United's best 11. De Gea obviously in goal, Valencia right back, Rojo and Bailly centre-backs with Luke Shaw. How interesting is it when you look at that back four straight away and compare it to the game at the weekend against Newcastle where we lost? That back four, only one survives in Antonio Valencia, and that is what I would say is pretty much standard Manchester United back four amongst the fans. Granted, Eric Bailly's not fit, and I'm sure Mourinho would pick him, but Rojo is surely the right option at left centre-back over Phil Jones. He's stronger, he's more reliable, he's better on the ball, and he's better in the air. I don't really see the comparison between Phil Jones and Rojo, but Mourinho seems to prefer Jones. Is that a mistake? I personally think it is. And as for Ashley Young at left-back, Luke Shaw is a left-back. He's left-footed, he's quicker, he's better going forward. He can put on a natural cross, which we all know I like. I love that sort of cross, and so does Lukaku. Ashley Young in this situation, little step over, the cross is coming in like that, and it's probably more like that. It has been successful at times, but that is far better into that danger zone, as we saw with the Mata cross against Huddersfield the other week. That natural cross that Lukaku can get across on the front post, and he's already pointing at goal. So Luke Shaw definitely for me. Now this is the interesting area in the midfield. Now I've gone with I suppose it is a 4-2-3-1, and I've gone with that because that's what Mourinho seems to want to do. But I find it more of an adaptive 4-3-3. Definitely at the moment, Fellaini's out injured anyway, so Mourinho can't force that upon us. Carrick back, but can you trust Carrick in the big games now at 36? McTominay nowhere near ready and unfair to throw him in there. So despite not many people wanting Pogba to be in the midfield more as a more defensive one, I think between now and the end of the season he's going to have to, like I say, buckle up and sort himself out and start putting in performances that befit a player who wants to be one of the best in the world. So it's Pogba and Matic as the midfield two. Mata, this is never going to happen. This is not going to happen. Mata at number 10. I think Mata at number 10 would help this guy and this guy so much more. And also Pogba, because Mata's not a selfish player. He's not somebody that when he gets the ball like Lingard, he wants to spin and run at the back four. He's not somebody who's going to bomb into space quickly. Mata's somebody who's going to be static around that number 10 position, always want the ball, but when he's got the ball, he's happy to ping it here, to here, and here, and then move. Or he's happy to play that Ivan needle pass and get Lukaku in. Mata at number 10 is undoubtedly our best option if we are going to play a number 10 at the moment. Jesse Lingard does not have that guile. Jesse Lingard, all he really has as a number 10 is spin and run. And against the best teams, as we've seen recently, it doesn't work. And even the lesser teams like your Huddersfield and your Newcastles, they figured it out as well. Lingard as a number 10 needs to stop between now and the summer. If you're going to play number 10, it's got to be Juan Mata or it's got to be Alexis Sanchez. And to be honest with you, in fairness to Lingard, if you want to put Sanchez in this position and move him from the right, I would not put Mata out on the right. I would put Lingard there. I think Lingard, as a winger, as somebody who wants to spin and run, and has got a bit of pace about him, I think Lingard should be on the right wing or the bench. But I'm going to say Mata, Matic, Pogba as the midfield three, stroke triangle with the number 10 Mata. Sanchez to the right, please, because Martial has been our best player this season and he needs to play on the left-hand side. This experiment or odd move of putting him out to the right is clearly not something Martial is comfortable with. And buying a player like Alexis Sanchez to replace our best player, as many people have said, is unfathomable. So it's got to be Alexis Sanchez on the right and Anthony Martial on the left. And Lukaku is going to be up front. Whether we want him or not, he will be up front. And actually, I think he should be up front. Spanners in the works. Well, I think when Rashford's fit, we might see Sanchez swap to there and Rashford down the right, which, Rashford's just not a winger. He is not a winger. I really like Marcus Rashford. But if Rashford's going to play anywhere, it's got to be where Lukaku is up front. He's not a winger, and it's been proven he's not a winger. And he's got all the heart, he's got all the desire, and I think he's got all the talent, but he's not a winger. He's got to play up front, and that means Lukaku doesn't play. So maybe Rashford can push Lukaku a little bit more. Does Zlatan factor in this? My big thing about Zlatan is I really like Zlatan, but I mean, is Zlatan going to make us... We're not playing fast attacking football as it is, even though we've got fast attackers. So putting a slow attacker in there is only going to compound the misery we see with slow moving football. So Zlatan for me has got to be a bench option in the last 10 minutes when we want to hit long high balls in, not somebody to start. The other alternative I did think is that you could remove Mata from this situation and drop Herrera in as the midfield three and allow Pogba more licence, Matic to sit and Herrera to go alongside him and Pogba to be to the left-hand side. I've not done that very well, have I? So what I'd do is I'd put Matic here, I'd put Pogba here, I'd put Herrera there, and obviously this guy doesn't exist. So you've got Matic patrolling and shepherding that midfield. Herrera slightly ahead of him with slightly more defensive responsibilities. Pogba box to box with slightly more attacking responsibilities. It's a risk, but in the grand scheme of things, he's never going to play Mata as a number 10. So the one swap I probably would consider, like I say, would be bring Herrera into a midfield three. Now I can hear everybody saying, Herrera, he's been rubbish this season. But I think about Herrera from last season, and I think Herrera, Matic, Pogba is the midfield three that we all thought we were going to get in the summer. And maybe it's not Herrera, Fabinho, Pogba like I wanted, but Herrera, Matic and Pogba. It means Matic doesn't look exhausted all the time because he's got Herrera to do a lot of the work. And it means Pogba's not doing all the defensive work all the time. And he's got a little bit more freedom to be more expansive going forward. And obviously then, you've not got to worry about your number 10 who's going to spin and run into a brick wall like Lingard. He's sat on the bench. You've got Sanchez down the right, Martial down the left and Lukaku up front. And Pogba and Herrera to get forward and support them while Matic sits back. I think Herrera, the way he gets across the ground is really much quicker than any of the midfielders we've got. Matic isn't like that and Pogba's not like that. And really all you want Herrera to do is just be a box-to-box, break the play up and find the pass forward. And he can do that. Will we see it? We've not really seen it all season. I think he prefers to play Fellaini in there, and that's part of the problem, isn't it? You put Fellaini in with Matic and you've got two very slow midfielders in relation to moving the ball. Herrera, if he can find some form, could be massively important. He could almost be like a new signing. Chuck him in that midfield with Matic and Pogba and then drop Mata and then play a 4-3-3. And it can work. I mean, we're talking about a gap between now and the end of the season. We're talking about being progressive in the Champions League as far as we can, securing top four and winning an FA Cup. And I think at the moment, all those things seem very, very distant dreams. But that team can do it in front of you there. But if you're not happy with that team, and I guarantee you he's never going to play Mata as a number 10, and Lingard's not a number 10. So there is no alternative. Mkhitaryan's been sold. I don't think he could have done the job anyway. So let's remove the number 10. If we're not going to do what many fans think is our best 11 and we're cancelling out Mata there, remove him and bring Herrera into a midfield three. And let's do it that way. And let's have Sanchez, Martial operating up front in a front three with a strong midfield three, have Herrera, Matic and Pogba. I don't think there's any other alternative in a midfield three, I must just say. I think it's Herrera, Matic or Pogba. Herrera, Matic and Pogba as a midfield three, or don't play a midfield three. I don't think McTominay, Matic and Pogba is ever going to work. McTominay's not ready. I don't think Carrick, Matic and Pogba can work because Carrick wants to sit in the front of the back four like Matic, and we can't go back to playing two centre defensive midfielders. That's just not going to happen. And Fellaini's injured. So for me, the best combination is Herrera, Pogba, Matic. And the only combination to play a 4-3-3 is Herrera, Matic, Pogba. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that 11. I'd like to see the 4-3-3 and put Mata on the bench and play Herrera in there in a midfield three. And I think that can work for us between now and the end of the season. And I think if you start putting this team forward, then the ball from back to front will change quickly, because instead of Smalling and Jones, who are limited on the ball, you've got Bailly, who wants to come forward, and you've got Rojo, who's a former left back who knows how to come forward and play the ball out from the back. You've obviously got your expansive fullbacks who want to get forward. You've got Martial and Sanchez, who have the freedom with a midfield three behind them to just be forward players, and Lukaku to hold that line high up the pitch. You've then got Pogba with freedom, but also defensive responsibilities, which I think he'd be happy with, rather than an onus on defensive responsibilities. Matic just controlling that midfield, but with the support of Herrera, so he's not getting overrun. I think that's the way to go. I think it is the way to go. In fact, I think the graphic I've put up is probably not the one I would go with. I would swap Mata out for Herrera and have a midfield three. Would Jose do it? I think that's the way to go. I really do. And I want to know what you lot think about it. So get commenting below with your United 11, because it may not be the same as mine. But the worrying thing is that, Bailly apart, these players and that system, we have the players for it. And we're not getting anywhere close to that. We're not, are we? And that is a concern. But that's how I think we should do. I also just want to bring up that we did mention last night that this is a worrying theme with Jose Mourinho since his Inter Milan days. Falling out with big players at the clubs he manages. Why does he do it? What positive does it bring to irritate the fans, to isolate yourself from the big players in the club that may mean you lose the dressing room? What is Mourinho's motivation? Answers on a postcard. I'd love somebody to answer it, because you might have a theory on it that nobody's really thought of. Why does Mourinho do that? And some people said to me, well, what are these players that he did at Real Madrid and Chelsea? Well, we know at United it's pretty much been Luke Shaw, Martial, Mkhitaryan to a certain extent, where he publicly sort of has a pop at them. At Real Madrid, it was Casillas, it was Ramos, and it was Pepe, high profile, big fan favourites at that club. Some people would say Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's a bit of a divisive figure himself with the Real Madrid faithful, and Mourinho never went totally too far with Ronaldo because I think he knew his worth. But Ramos, Pepe, and Casillas publicly lambasted them. Went to Chelsea. And as we know, at Chelsea, fell out with their best player in the bit where he got himself sacked with Eden Hazard. Matic, he had a little pop at him, but obviously Matic forgave him. But Hazard was the main one. But let's not forget, David Luiz didn't get on with him. Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne was going to leave Werder Bremen to become Dortmund's main man, and Mourinho persuaded him to come to Chelsea and never used him. Salah, another one. So he has publicly had issues at his last two clubs before Manchester United. And you could say now with the Pogba, the Martial, the Luke Shaw things we've seen, fan favourites again, publicly not really backing them. Never used to do it before Inter Milan. Something changed in Mourinho's psyche. I don't know. It happens so regularly that maybe he sees it as a positive thing to get the things he wants to get done. But there's your evidence. I don't think... Look, Mourinho's not a stupid man. He does not want to lose the dressing room. He's worked hard on Anthony Martial, and a lot of people thought he would sell Anthony Martial, and I think the performances Martial and the maturity he's put in this season are down in no small part to Mourinho and the work he's put in. And look at Luke Shaw. Again, he's not sold these players, in fairness. He has been quite publicly critical of them, but he hasn't sold them. He's worked hard on them, and they've both been very, very good this year. Pogba could come through this bit of an issue with Mourinho and come out the other side a better player for it if he listens, because Martial certainly has. So hopefully that is the case, and it's not a case like it was at Madrid and Chelsea where he started to lose more and more players and eventually lost the dressing room. I choose to believe the latter. I think hopefully Pogba can come through this and we can get back on track. And the best way of doing that is by playing these players and letting them be more expansive. Or if it's not going to be this 11, pull Mata out and put Herrera in, and let's give this 4-3-3 a go that you all want to see. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's a pre-record tonight, so remember, if you want to find me live tonight, I'm on That's Football watching Juventus versus Spurs, doing a watch along on there. So if you want to join me live now, the link is in the video description for that, and you'll be able to join me live watching Juventus versus Spurs. So come and join me. Thanks everyone for watching this. Please do drop a like on the video, and don't forget, before you do leave us your comments about what you think about the 11 and anything else we've discussed. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.